The college basketball experience, summer school coaches tour, Radford head coach Darris Nichols edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win 325 times your entry with their new Pick 8. Sign up today using that promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit. Offer up to $250 bonus in cash. Underdog Fantasy promo code TCESGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get the best data-driven props and picks from Rhythm. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That is sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM today. And welcome, everybody, to the college basketball experience, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Wednesday night, June the 12th. College basketball is alive and well, and we are kicking off a new summer series, the Summer School Coaches Tour, featuring a good friend of mine, Coach Darris Nichols of the Radford Highlanders. But first, if you're wondering who you're listening to, I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin. Also known as Mac Tonight over at the College Basketball Experience. And like I said, we got a loaded lineup here. We got Coach Nichols coming on here in a couple minutes. We're going to get to that. Not a lot of news here in college basketball today. It is June. So the portal is finally dying down. Real quick before we play that interview with Coach Nichols, I got to get us paid because you got to join Noah Beanick over at the College Baseball Experience, live streaming each night on YouTube or available for download on all podcast forms for daily coverage on the picks of the greatest show on the dirt, the College World Series until the end of June. Also, go check out the Circa announced. They're giving away $16 million in guaranteed prizes over at Circa Survivor and Circa Millions. Sign up today in Vegas and play anywhere from footballcontestproxy.com. Promo code SGP to get $50 off. That is the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/proxy code SGP. All righty. Like I said, we got Coach Nichols coming on. So with further ado, here is Coach Nichols. And we kick off our summer coaches tour on the college basketball experience with the head coach of the Radford Highlanders and former West Virginia great Darris Nichols. D-Nice, what's up, man?
How you doing, Mac?
I'm doing good, man. First off, how are things at Radford, and how is the spring been other than refreshing the transfer portal every 10 minutes?
It's been crazy. And I think we actually finalized our roster. Like, that's what you hear when you go on the road or when you talk to other coaches. Like, man, how many more you got to get? So that's, the conversation in the spring now. But we brought in, we bring in 9 new guys. We brought in 9 new guys. So we actually finished that before Memorial Weekend. So I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, I would say you're probably ahead of 90% of the programs in the country. And it's crazy. You say 9 new guys, and you said that 5 years ago, you'd be like, oh man, that's crazy bringing in 9. Now it's like, actually that's about average or so. But real quick, let's rewind before we talk about your current roster. So you're home. For those that do not know, you are from Radford. What was it like coming back home? You played at Radford High, and you got the keys to the city when you were a Mountaineer your senior year. But what's it like being home around your family and coaching the Highlanders?
It's good because, obviously my brother's on my staff, my older brother, by 2 years. And in this profession, the biggest thing you sacrifice is being with your family. As all the places I've been have been far away from Radford, Virginia. And, just being able to stop by my parents' house, eat lunch, stop by after work, things like that is, a lot of times you don't get to do that, especially when you see your family and they're getting older. So for me, it's been great being able to be around my mom and dad. Um, the hard part is that the business of college basketball now is even more time consuming than it was 3 years ago, and you know people don't get a firsthand look of what all goes into college basketball. And now that I'm back home and I'm around loved ones, I can't make everybody's birthday party. I can't make everybody's graduation party because you still have a job to do. And that for me, that was hard balancing. I don't even like saying balancing because nothing's ever going to be balanced. That was hard for me navigating, especially my first 2 years.
Yeah, and you're heading into your fourth year. So you played WU, obviously. That's why I introduced you as former West Virginia great.
Yeah,
You played for John Beilein, Hall
yeah,
of Famer, and Bob Huggins, Hall of Famer. Both could not be more different in their
right.
philosophies, how they do things. What did you take from each guy, and just your time playing for him? And I know you work for Hugs as well on his coaching staff, but what did you just take from each of them in your time with them?
I think the biggest thing is like um, with Beeline, it was more. Um, I would say we did a lot of skill development. He's big on that, and I think with Hugs was a lot of like mental development, and so just seeing it done two different ways. The time when Beeline left, the coach that recruited you, and he recruited me since I was in ninth grade, and then he leaves. I thought at the time that was the worst thing in the world. And then, now that I'm coaching and I'm looking back on it, I think that was the best thing that happened to me because you got two Hall of Fame coaches who do it completely two different ways. So now I can understand, okay, well, you don't have to always do it the same way. There's more than one way to do it. So I think that's what helped me in my coaching career is just seeing it done multiple ways and in my playing career.
Yeah, and then from there you go to Northern Kentucky for a year. You were a GA at West Virginia, learn the ropes of the support staff. You work for Mike Young at Wofford, another really good coach, head coach at Virginia Tech now. And then you go to Louisiana Tech and eventually Florida with Mike White. Um, I mean, you've been around good coaches all the way up to when you're head coach. Would you take away from Mike Young and Mike White? Because they have had
Yeah.
hell of a careers as well on top of Hugs and John Beilein.
I mean, the fortunate thing about this is I've worked for really good people first.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in college athletics, you spend so much time with each other. Like you have to make sure you're working with good people who you enjoy being around. And with Mike Young, the biggest thing I learned from him was how to treat people, on campus and who you work with. I remember stories like, we used to go through when we ate in the cafeteria, like where the faculty and staff ate, we used to walk through the back door through the kitchen into, the area where we were eating. And I'm always wondering, I'm like, why do we keep walking through this way? But, for him, he wanted to go and make sure he was speaking to the people who, were cooking the food, who may not get as much attention. And, that story right there and just seeing him do that, that stuck out to me. And then, with Mike White, just being around him and his family, in the business that they're in, with most of them being athletic directors, just, I got to see the business side of it more and, how to maneuver in the business and navigate that as a young assistant.
Yeah, it's really remarkable, just the different guys that you've been around, got to work for. And I'm sure when you were an assistant coach, you felt like you had all the answers. Every assistant coach, every support staff member does.
Yeah, yeah,
So that you get the job. What this is going to be year 4 now.
yeah,
What's been the biggest difference of just, I don't know, managing your
yeah.
day, just how you approach a day of being an assistant coach versus being a head coach?
I think it took me a while to figure out, okay, what things do I not need to focus on as much or give energy. I think it's more so um, not where you spend your time, it's where you spend your energy. And as a head coach, you have more layers to your day than as an assistant coach. An assistant coach, you're dealing with different things, and the head coach, now you're dealing with alumni, you're dealing with fundraising. There's more layers to it. And so for me, that was hard to get used to because I was used to recruiting and going in and finding kids, and now you got to lean on your assistants a little more and trust them and trust their evaluations. So that was different for me.
And I have to ask this question. We already hinted at it.
Yeah.
The portal and the NIL, and it's like you turn on the TV, everybody's talking about the portal, NIL, or whether Caitlin Clark should be on Team USA. But you took over
Yeah.
as this new era was transitioning. Like
Yeah.
the portal and NIL kind of took a life of its own as soon as you became a head coach. So
Yeah.
kind of the industry that you knew back then is not the same one as it is now. What's kind of been the transition in that?
I think about it, and I just finished year 3, so every year has been completely different. When I first got the job, I did my press conference. We were still wearing masks, because COVID was still a thing. And I remember the first year we had to cancel some games because of COVID. So I look back and I'm like, okay, I'm first time head coach. I'm dealing with COVID, and I'm like, okay, now I got to make these decisions. Year 2, the transfer portal is a thing. NIL's kind of getting started, and some people are like, can I do this? Can I not do this? Or some people are kind of tippy-toeing around it. Year 3, now you got, okay, you had one-time transfer. Now it's like, okay, well, you can transfer as many times as you want. And now, NIL is a real thing. And now, schools are able to directly pay. So, these last 3 years have been completely different than what I've known over the 14 years I've been coaching. So I think, one of our program standards is to be flexible. And that's what we've had to do is like, just be flexible with the business and just figure it out and try to adjust and, maintain. And, feel like every day you're doggy paddling, trying to figure out, okay, what are you going to do next?
Yeah. And I feel like it will calm down a little bit when the super seniors, the COVID seniors are no longer. So at least it'll be, if you're a 4-year guy, you're a 4-year guy. It's not, hey, you could be a 5th and maybe a 6th or 7th if you get that waiver or that waiver. So at least you got that going. Maybe it'll.
I don't know why you trying to figure out what it's going to be like, because you say that and then they'll grant somebody. They may grant me an extra year to play from 2004 2005. So I wouldn't try to figure it out.
Well, you should ask W for some of your NIL from the Sweet 16 runs in the NIT championship buzzer beater you hit.
Well, I've heard people are, making them, trying to get back pay even from years before me. And
I believe it.
It's funny. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I remember, playing with Pittsnogle, and they had the You've Been Pittsnogle shirts. And, they were going around the state, and, we was going to Charleston playing. They was opening up little pop-up shops where people had T-shirts that said, "You've got Pittsnogle." And I'm thinking, if he was around during this time, he would have probably been a $2 million player with, with the name and, what he was doing and the runs we went on.
No doubt. No doubt. I mean, Pittsnogle, and imagine Deshaun and JC and those guys. I'm sure Truck and John Flowers are trying to get there still. So anyway, so what's so unique about your guys' staff, and obviously I have a personal relationship with you guys. Me and one of your assistant coaches, James Herring, we were college managers together at West Virginia. But you guys have had the same staff for now going into year number 4. Just speak about how special your guys' bond is, because I can see it when I go game to game. You can tell, just because I've been in the industry, which staffs like each other, which ones are real with each other, and which ones are all pulling the same way versus which ones have egos and they got their own agenda.
Yeah. And I, like, when I went about hiring my staff, I called Coach Beilein and I asked him, about, like, because I always thought he did a really good job of hiring staffs. And he said, don't go out there and try to get the best offensive guy, the best defense, the best recruiter. Get people who believe in you. And that stuck with me. And I also thought about, I said, okay, I'm at a job where you got to get in the car and you got to drive. So who can you get in the car with and drive across the country with and still have a great time? And so that's how I formed my staff. And I got unbelievable people. So if I'm recruiting somebody's prized possession, which is their son, I want them around good people. So, that was big to me.
What's it been like working with your brother? Because I knew how you guys were so close over the years, and I'm sure it was different actually working with each other.
Yeah.
How's that been? I mean, it's
It's,
obviously special with your dad and mom being right there as well.
yeah, it's been great. And then, in this business, like you don't know how good anybody is until you work with them.
Mhm.
Even my own brother, I didn't know how good he was until me and him started working together. And it's been great. Somebody that you can trust. And I think my brother does a good job of handling it with the rest of the staff, where it doesn't feel like, oh, he's making all the decisions or he's doing that. So I think who he is, that makes our staff dynamic even better because of him not having the ego about it.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I knew how good he was when I played against him twice a year at Austin P, and he got that John Morant guy to go to Murray, Kentucky, and they kicked our ass twice a
Yeah.
year. So I could have told you how good he was, and obviously
Yeah.
James Herring, aka Little Sweat, is tremendous as well. Um, from a personal standpoint and a coaching standpoint, who've had the biggest impacts on your career? I know we've kind of went down each coach, but is there a single person that's kind of that impacts you day by day?
Um, Day by day, I would say probably my high school coach, Rick Hormany,
Mhm.
who retired last year. Obviously still lives here in Radford, but I talk to him quite a bit. Um, he'll text me, he'll come to practice, and kind of just be some eyes for us. But I would say he's probably had the biggest impact on me.
Awesome. Last year when I watched you guys, I feel like I watched every single game. I went to a couple games in person. Um, it felt like you guys were turning a corner. Then you got the injury bug. What do you think of your team coming back this next year? Well, what's
Yeah,
left coming back, and then the 9 new guys. I shouldn't say what's
yeah,
coming back because it's only 4 guys that are coming back.
yeah, yeah.
But how do you like your team so far headed into the summer?
We hadn't started workouts. We'll start workouts here in the next week or two. But the roster that we put together, we're a lot bigger. I think we're a lot more physical. I think we have a level of toughness to us that I like better. Um, and last year, with just some injuries and um, that kind of caused some rotational substitution issues.
Yeah.
So I would like to think, hopefully we stay healthy. I like to think we will be a lot deeper and kind of just wear teams out with our depth. Um, year two when we were really good, that's what I thought we could do. And I like to play a lot of guys. So I think we have a lot of different guys that can impact the game.
Yeah, it felt like you guys were juggling so many pieces last year, with just injuries, and then you guys were really playing well. And I was at this game, and I'll be honest, I was not rooting. This is the one game I did not root for you. You guys hit a buzzer beater at the Coliseum where you played. It's actually your third time you've won at the Coliseum. You won as an assistant at Florida. I was on the other sideline, so I was not rooting for you that day either. And then you won as an assistant in a bye game in Northern Kentucky back in the day as well. You have the Mountaineers number. Now that a Hugs guy's doesn't have the program, if you play him again, I will root for you guys.
I appreciate it.
But I was there when you
Yeah.
when you broke our Mountaineers back. What was it like winning as the actual head coach of a program at your alma mater, where you had so many great memories? I mean, you won so many, been part of so many wins, but to win, lead your program, and win in front of a bunch of family and friends that
Yeah.
you grew up loving.
It was fun, but it was more exciting how we won.
Hmm.
Um, because the game was going back and forth. Like both teams were trying to lose, and then
Yeah,
they got up. I think they got up five, and then for us it felt like we went a timeout, and I said, "Hey, these guys seem like they've already won the game. Let's just keep chipping away at it." And then we hung around, and they missed a free throw, and then came down, bobbled the ball, and Quan hit the shot, but it was exciting. It was weird because it's a whole different feel in the building, with all the stuff they had going on.
true.
So me looking on the other side, I was happy we won, but I was also, I felt for those guys because I know a lot of stuff they were going through. It was really challenging.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously good to see Josh land on his feet at Utah.
We
One of
play
the
them.
best. Yeah, one of the best. Oh, you guys play Utah?
Yeah, we play Utah. We go out there and play them this year.
I don't know if I can drive that one. You talk about guys getting in the car. I don't think I can pull off that one. I'll watch it on TV. I'm a much better coach and evaluator from the couch when I
We
get a
all
cold
are.
one in my hand.
Yeah, we're all better coaches from the couch. That's where you make all your major decisions.
Yeah, well, you guys get to bang your head with the portal and watching film all night. I just get to say, "Oh, you should have done this," and then I'll take another cold one. But yeah, everybody's a better coach from the couch. D-Nice, if you had to pinpoint what you guys take pride in your program, what you preach day in and day out, what would be the main thing that you would want people to know about the Radford basketball program?
I just think that we have a certain level of humility to us, and I also think that that it starts from our staff. Our staff does a really good job of um, obviously being you got to have a level of confidence too, but you have to walk with humility. So um, I think that's who we are. That's what we stand for, and I think that's what the community likes.
Love it, love it, love it. D-Nice, I appreciate you making time to stop by the college basketball experience. Best of luck this season. You'll be seeing me
Yeah,
plenty.
yeah,
And look forward to having you on again, man.
yeah. Appreciate you coming by, man. I appreciate you having me on and your support pulling up to games.
Thanks, D-Nice. We'll see
Yeah.
you, man.
All right, we'll see you.
Darris Nichols, head coach of the Radford Highlanders. I feel like this sometimes is said, and a lot of people are full of shit when they say it. But a better human being than he is basketball coach, top notch dude, and very genuine. Does things the right way. Paid his dues. We kind of went step by step in his career. Whether it was being a GA after being a player, a lot of players after they're done playing, they don't have they're not humble enough to be a GA or be on a support staff. D-Nice was. He learned the ropes of what it takes to run a program, work for great coaches, Beilein, play for Beilein, play for Hugs, work for Mike Young at Wofford, now Virginia Tech, Mike White at Louisiana Tech, and then they got that thing going one big there so that they got the Florida job, they go to the Elite Eight, and then he earns the Radford job. And he's going into his fourth year in his hometown. So it's special whenever you get to come home, and you can see that from that interview. And he gets to work with his brother, and you could tell that they got a tight staff just by the way that you don't see staff stick together 3-4 years like these guys do. So for them to do that, headed into their fourth year, love Radford to make a big jump next year, compete for the Big South. And we'll break down the Big South later this summer with High Point winning it last year, Longwood winning the tournament, but High Point was the class up top. But expect Radford to be right back there like they were 2 and 3 years ago. So real quick before we get out of here, got to get us paid one more time. We're brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Get on over there. Pick 8 is now live for the NBA Finals. Create your entries. 8 picks. Underdog will automatically double your flex entries. And you can win up to 2 picks and still win your entry. So it's kind of a little bit like a round robin. You can miss up to 2 picks, and you can win up to 325 is what you put in initially. Pick 8 over there at the Underdog Fantasy. And right above my head, there you go, TCESGPN. Use that code. That's how you're going to get all these good offers. But you got to use that code TCESGPN to claim your special pick. First time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. Underdog Fantasy promo code TCESGPN. All righty, we are back on the college basketball experience, and I don't have a lot going on. I'm getting ready to sign off here. Appreciate everybody tuning in to see our summer school coaches tour. Like I said, I've been excited to release this. I had to wait till after I was married. I didn't want to half-ass it and do it on the front end and be sidetracked and do partially before and then come back 2 weeks later. But yeah, back from the wedding, back from Cancun. New energy, ready to rock and roll as we are, less than 5 months in till we tip it off, November 4th. So make sure you subscribe to all channels. The College Baseball Experience Omaha is coming up this weekend. We were on that channel breaking down the bracket last night. College Football Experience Colby's breaking down all 134 teams. I got you covered here on the College Basketball Experience. Tomorrow night, Rick Cabrera, the head coach of the Northwestern State Demons, comes by the College Basketball Experience as we continue our summer school coaches tour. That's all I got, everybody. I will see you tomorrow night. This is another edition of Mac Tonight signing off over at the College Basketball Experience. You better start thinking about yours. And we are out of here.